What I eat in a day as a fat person who's not trying to lose weight.
What I eat in a day as a fat girl not focused on weight loss. Fat girl not focused on weight loss. Fat girl not focused on weight loss. Not on a diet.
Am I showing off my boobs? Or do I just have boobs and exist?
This is a girl who calls herself Sylvia the Nomad, and there have been a lot of people in her comments talking about how it seems like she is not being honest about what she eats because it seems like she's saying that she eats less than she would have to in order to maintain the size that she is.
And that's all I ate that day, but somebody in the comments is still gonna say I'm lying.
I briefly mentioned that in my last video, and I thought it would be interesting to do a sort of investigative analysis to just see approximately how many calories she is eating in this particular video and see if it does seem like she's not telling the truth or if maybe it's actually a lot more than it seems like. And maybe people need to realize that there are more calories in the food that we generally consume than we realize, and maybe we need to be more aware of that. So I thought it'd be interesting to get down to the bottom of it. Let's go.
I woke up craving Arizona green tea, so I had that with the half a watermelon.
So I found green tea on the Arizona website, and it turns out that there are 2 servings per container, and each serving is 130 calories. I feel like her cup looks like it could fit the whole 260 calories, but since we don't know for sure, I guess let's just call it 200. And then as far as the watermelon, as you would expect, it's next to no calories. Half of a whole watermelon rounds up to about 43 calories. Okay, so we're going to start adding these things up. We have 200 calories for the Arizona green tea, and then 43 for the watermelon, which brings us to 243 for her first meal of the day.
And I know it's summer, but I'm a soup girl, so I made chicken tortilla soup. I couldn't find the tortilla strips at the market, so I just ate it with the tostada.
So I know, of course, she made her own chicken tortilla soup, but just to get a general idea of approximately how many calories there might have been in there, I looked up this, popular brand of soup, chicken tortilla, Progresso, and in a serving, which is half of a can, there's 100 calories. Hard to say how much was in her bowl. Could be a whole can's worth. So, just to kind of make it an average, we could say maybe between the 2 bowls it was about 300 calories, which would be 3 servings, 1.5 cans. And then when we add that to the 243, we of course get 543. So far, this seems like nowhere near enough to be what a woman that fat eats for breakfast, lunch, and dinner in an average day and maintains her weight. So seeming pretty iffy so far. And then of course, she didn't actually mention it, which is an interesting little subtlety to notice, but she also had avocado on her soup. So we'll assume she at least ate 1 full avocado. And I find it interesting, here over at Cleveland Clinic, it asks, can you eat too much avocado? And then a little bit later on in the article, it says, it's worth noting that avocados aren't low-cal, with the whole one generally having between 200 and 300 calories, depending on size. It didn't look like she had all that much on each bowl of soup, so let's just call it 200 calories between the 2. Which brings us to 743 calories. And we also can't forget the tostada shells, which at least for the Ortega brand are 120 calories each. So that's kind of a high calorie item there. And I'm sure she ate, 1 with each bowl. So that's another 240 calories. Which now brings the day to 983 calories, but still, for a woman that size, that is really not enough to maintain her weight. That being her whole day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for everything, the tostada, the avocado, the soup, the watermelon, and the green tea. And I'm guessing maybe she's about 5'5", maybe between 250 to 300 pounds would be my guess. This is what she looks like. This is on her Instagram. Looks like an amazing trip that they went on, but it's actually pretty sad. Here it says, I've always been a fat girl. I don't remember a time when I wasn't overweight. So that tells me that her parents probably weren't, feeding her well, which is sad. And she's never grown out of that and just gotten used to it, so that sucks. And since she said that she couldn't remember a time that she was ever not fat, I even looked up whether or not a baby can be born obese, because that got me curious. And healthline.com from May 29, 2020 says that a pregnant woman who is overweight, has obesity, is a smoker, or has gestational diabetes is more likely to have a baby who weighs more at birth or becomes overweight later on. And that same article says, yes, excess weight gain can still be a concern for babies. Experts at Harvard University note that babies that gain too much weight in their first 2 years can have a higher risk of health problems in their childhood and even adult years. That's why it's important to track gains over time and establish a healthy rate of gains. So it does sound to me like if she really was overweight for as long as she can ever remember, probably her mother and possibly her father as well had the same type of issues. And it's almost like a generational curse type of thing. Gluttony is a character flaw. Not that I have never suffered with it myself. I definitely have struggled with that. But in the Bible, it's even referred to as a sin. So just something to definitely think about.
My husband and I are obsessed with bubbly, so I poured myself a mango bubbly, and then for dinner I just had another bowl of soup.
Bubbly is carbonated flavored water that contains no calories, so that's nothing for us to count, and we already counted the second bowl of soup for dinner. But here comes the big whopper of dessert. Let's check that out.
And then for dessert I had a non-dairy cherry Garcia ice cream. It was so delicious.
I looked up the non-dairy cherry Garcia on the Ben & Jerry's website, and the way she described it, it sounded like she ate the whole entire container, which comes out to 950 calories, so that was a lot right there.
And that's all I ate that day, but somebody in the comments is still gonna say I'm lying.
When we add that to the total for the day, it comes out to 1,933 calories, which is sounding a lot more plausible. But still, for somebody that size, for that to be what they eat in an average day, that just doesn't sound correct. I think she would be losing weight if she was eating that in an average day. So let's look into that a little further. So here is Sylvia next to her husband, just for some more perspective on about what her size is compared to a pretty average size looking person. And here on her YouTube channel, she actually tells us what size she is.
I'm a fat girl who just flew Frontier for the first time, and I am honestly surprised how well I fit in their seats. I mean, the seats are pretty standard. I'm a size 2022, and the tray went all the way down, and I did not need a seatbelt extender.
Okay, so Sylvia said she is a size 20 to 22, and I've been doing some digging trying to figure out what her weight might approximately be. I finally found this from like a MyFitnessPal thread. And this is from September 2011. They're asking if size 22, what is your weight? The first person says 242 pounds. The next, when I wore a 22, I was at 240, 5'6" and 241.8. So my guess is that maybe Sylvia's about 5'5", 250. So I might have been correct. This person, I started at 238 and I'm 220 now, 5'7". So yeah, that makes sense because I am close to 5'8", and my highest weight ever was about 190. And I was chunky, but I didn't have the rolls that Sylvia has. So, I'm guessing if she's a few inches shorter than me, which it looks like she is, maybe she was just a little bit more than 200. So looks like that's probably about accurate based on what all these people are saying. Okay. So we may have actually solved the mystery, because if she is 65 inches, which is 5.5 feet and about 250 pounds, I believe she said she's about 30 years old, Her BMI would be 41.6, and she would need just over 3,000 calories to maintain her current weight. Her what I ate in a day video that we just went through, which is pretty similar to all the other ones that she does, showed about 2,000 calories. So, you know, it's not adding up. I don't know if she's being totally truthful here. Why do you think that might be? And do you think that is the case? Thank you again so much for being here today. Since you liked the video enough to make it all the way to the end, don't forget to click the thumbs up and share with somebody else who would also find it interesting. Leave your comments below and we'll all have a conversation. And if you really enjoyed it, check out the description for several different ways that you can support. Have a wonderful night, afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time zone you are in, and I will see you next time.